Hi there. I'm Darren Krause, editor at Livewire Calgary. Thanks for taking the time to browse our freelance guidelines. One of the questions that I've been asked the most throughout my entire career comes in one of two variations, and they're very similar. First, I'm asked, where do you get your stories? The next is, how do I find stories? Like I said, they're quite similar, but let me kind of take you through it. I've been asked these questions from interns, new reporters, old reporters, and even readers and other people interested in what I do. I thought it might be good to include a short video on what we're looking for and where you might find those stories. You can kind of consider this a virtual pitch meeting. So we want to assign more stories. We want to have a more diverse set of voices and ultimately support more writers in Calgary. Trust me when I say that it's easier to dig up stories than you think. So, let's answer those fundamental questions, those first two questions, and then we'll get to the third question. What kind of stories are you looking for at Livewire Calgary? So, question one, how and where do I find stories? You see, I'm generally a curious person. I'm always asking why and how. I kind of think of myself as the average 6-year-old, always asking why. Why is that sign there? Why are we paying for this? How does this work? Those kind of questions come up every waking moment of your day. You just need to tune into them and turn them into stories. Chances are, if you're asking these questions, someone else is too. Next, I meet with people. I meet with a lot of people and I just let them talk. People love to talk. And if you listen, you'll usually find out a couple of things. You just need to listen. Expand your network and you'll expand your story pipeline. The next thing I do is I read. I read a lot of books, a lot of articles, and find a way to apply that to my city. And of course, social media. It's always a great conduit, but you need to be prepared to act quickly. A lot of other people, including other reporters, are looking for ways to capitalize on social media. Bottom line is, I've always got my story radar on. Every single day. And I'm always looking for the next thing that's a potential story. There's one important note here though. Don't shoot yourself down before you get started. You're a journalist. You have access to people that others don't. You just need to ask for it. That stops a lot of journalists in their tracks. Now, let's help you pitch a story both here and potentially at other publications. The first thing you need to do is read through our website and get a feel for what we're after. You'll find that we're very community driven, almost grassroots. Doing this, going through people's website, is probably the first habit that you should get into when you're pitching. Now, we're not after 35,000 foot views, the here's how carbon tax affects Albertans. We're more likely to accept a local person and a local story, and how carbon tax may have affected them. For us, the closer to the ground you are, the better. So, think small, slice of life, people stories. If you know someone who's doing something really amazing, that's a story for us. If there's a neighborhood issue that's got people riled up, that's a story for us. You'll find these stories by talking with friends, neighbors, on your drive to the grocery store, or when you take transit for a night out. You just have to observe. You have to be curious, and you have to start asking why and how. Now there's one final thing that can really firm up your pitch with Livewire Calgary. Exclusive. A lot of writers make the mistake of pitching a story they've seen already written or posted elsewhere, especially in other media. That's a no-no. Or if a story comes through via press release or other way geared to get media attention, that means everybody else is chasing the story. Unless you've got a specific new piece of information, we're probably going to decline. And it doesn't have to be a breaking news story. It's just got to be a story that no one else has. We'll let the other guys chase after the same story and the same audience. You see, our mission is to tell stories about Calgary and Calgarians that no one else is telling. So, I hope that helps. I hope it inspires you to pitch that story that you've been sitting on. Don't be afraid to do it. We're here to help you bring that story to life. Finally, here's how to pitch. A quick email to darren.krause@livewirecalgary.com begins the conversation. I'll personally respond to everyone as quickly as possible. Might be 24 hours, might be an hour, who knows. But tell us that story as succinctly as possible. Give us 1 or 2 graphs. Tell us what you're going to do and what you bring to the story and why it's important. Then we'll assign it, you produce it, we'll publish it, then you invoice and pay. And I can tell you right now, we're probably paying faster than anybody else. We also recently upped our freelance rates so we can shake more of the stories from the bushes here in Calgary. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? It's time to start pitching. I look forward to hearing from you. So long.